Banderani to this, the second Shakespeare Schools Festival to be held here at Kabuzu Academy in Kasungu District, Malawi. We present in this video an introduction to the 5 plays, 3 scenes, and more sonnets that were performed on Saturday, the 1st of December 2018 in the auditorium in front of me. The festival involved some 200 young people and their teachers from 7 schools representing every region of Malawi. The youngest pupil was 8, the oldest 22. Their achievement was remarkable, the proof, if ever there were doubt, of vast reserves of Malawi enthusiasm, hard work, and talent. It deserves commemoration, and it is a great pleasure to be able to share part of it with you, our gentle audience, on film. It is, I think, appropriate that the festival should have found a home here at the school established by His Excellency, the Life President of the Republic of Malawi, the Ngwazi, Dr. H. Kabuzu Banda, so as to allow, contrary to the idols of the age, an education in the humanities to young Malawians. I am quite sure that we have honoured the intention of the founder of Kabuzu Academy with this festival, and I hope that we shall continue to do so. I will leave it to my colleague, the acting headmaster, Mr. Andrew Wild, to offer a word of thanks and conclusion in due course. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Wild himself and all those at Kabuzu Academy who have contributed in so many different ways to allow this festival to happen. Our inspiration here in Malawi is the work of the South African Festival, which is well established and wholly admirable. Ms. Xenia Filanova Bruton, founder and director, has been unfailing in her encouragement and support. And further, I can say with confidence that without the untiring labour and goodwill of my assistant and co-director, Mr. Samson Piri, who is also driver and dragoman and more else than his modesty will allow me to say, this festival would not have taken place. Many thanks, and zikomo pambiri. I will not seek to delay you too much longer, but please allow me first a brief observation. Once upon a time, the Ngwazi thought fit to commission a translation of Julius Caesar, Shakespeare's profound meditation on the nature of power, into Chichewa. You will find the manuscript in the library of Ngoyanawambe, his palace on Mount Kasungu. It demonstrates just how important the Ngwazi considered it that Malawi, while not forgetful of her own cultures and traditions, should embrace also those of the languages that are her rightful inheritance from Europe. Greek and Latin, certainly, as taught here at Kabuzu Academy, but also English, which owes its strength and vitality not least to the fact that Shakespeare took it and refashioned it in his poetry and in his drama into something new and excellent. So, Samson, renewed thanks, and perhaps I might invite you to complete this welcome pa Chichewa.
Zomo kwambiri magolo onse masprinsi nonse maso ana school nonse amene mabwera kuzakhala nawo pamwambo wa madrama amenewa. Zoonadi inali ntchito yayikulu imene takati kugwira kulumikizana ndi maziphunzitsi komanso ndi ana a school. Patoka sikanatha kupanga chilichonse koma chifukwa cha mgwirizano umene unalipo pakati pa maziphunzitsi ndi ifeyo zinatitengera kuti ntchito iyi ikakhale ntchito yochepa kwambiri. Tikuthokoza kwambiri kwa ana a school onse awonse amene abwera komanso madrama amene apangawa. Zimenezi zitithandiza kwambiri kuti maphunziro apite patsogolo komanso akhala ana olimbikira kwambiri mu panga za chizulu chawo komanso ndi ntchito zina zambiri. Tifuna tithokozenso kwambiri kwa ani ake amalo Mr. Andrew Ward amene anatithandizanso kuti bwereka holo yawo komanso Mr. Richard Hewitt amene ali omkulu woyang'anira za madrama amenewa osewa tingofuna kuti tiwathokoze kwambiri pa ntchito yayikulu imene inagwira chilichonse chikanatheka popanda mphamvu ya anthu amene kotero tingofuna kulimbikitsa ana sukulu kuti alimbikire kwambiri kuti chaka chamawa tizapanga iso chimodzimodzi zomwe kwambiri.
What weather is that?
I don't know, sir.
Devoni, she brought details and torches to burn bright. Did my heart love you now? For swear it's sight, for I never felt so beautiful till this night. I profane you with my anointing. This shrine gentle is this, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good cooking. You do run your hands too much. Which man of devotion shows in this? Who says hands moving down to touch and come to pound is all you can.
Have sense no lips and Tolika must do.
Hey, these are the mischievous prayers.
Oh, then dear saint, let the hands do what the lips do. They pray.
Write a book. Madam, your mother tried to write a book.
What is her mother?
Her mother is 11,000.
I threw you now in the place. It is the east and Juliet is the sun. It is my lady, oh, it is my love. That she knew she would. See how she is that she. Upon that. Oh, that I will drove upon that hand that I miscarried that she.
Hey, me.
She speaks. Speak again, bright angel.
Oh, Romeo. Romeo. Wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be forsworn, my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I no more shall speak at this?
'Tis by thy name, that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, thou not a Montague or be some other name. What's in a name that which we call a rose, but any other name is not a sweet? So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called? Romeo took that name, and for that name which is not part of me, take home myself.
The measure of thy joy be that mind, and not thy skill be more. And God is an imagine happiness that God receive freedom by his dear. Oh, no! Come with me. We shall have a short word.
For finalists, shall not stay alone till the whole church incorporate to in one.
Gentlemen, good day. I wait in front of you. Shall find me up enough to. I am for you. Gentlemen, for shame, for fear, what you want? me have a drum of poison with such stone spinning gear that would despise in my veins and cause me a death.
Such moral drugs I have, but the motor slowly takes me in my poverty.
I bear thy poverty and not thy will.
Oh, happy dance. This is my chief. Whereas I let me die. Yeah! Take it to yourself!
Good, my wife!
I must eat my dinner. This island is mine by my mother. And now here in Chinese this handbook, when I was nothing for me, the rest of this island. I previously do things to make this speak. Don't be each one thing or other.
Caesar is trying to hear. What man is that? As soon as I bids you, you are the kings of Mars. What speaks thou to me now? Speak once again.
You are the kings of Mars.
He's a dreamer. Let us save him. Fast. Would we die qualities? Oh, great Caesar.
mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Fare thee well. Oh, make it thy meek and gentle with these butchers. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood.
Stay, ho, and let us hear my anthem.
Let him go up into the public chair. We'll hear him. Nobility, go up.
You gentle Romans.
This Caesar was a tyrant.
Nay, that said, we are blessed that Rome. Peace. Let us hear what Antony can say.
He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. He has brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. You all did see. I thrice presented him the kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse.
Methinks there is much reason in his sayings.
Now consider rightly of the matter. Caesar has had great wrong. As he masters, I fear there will the worst come in his place.
Mark his words, you will not take the crown. If it be found so, then some would dare abide it.
Poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. There's not a nobler man in Rome than Antony.
But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. But now lies he there. I do not mean to read. For they would kiss dead Caesar's wounds, and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue.
Read the will. We'll hear it, Antony.
Friends, I must not read it. I fear I wronged honorable men who had stabbed Caesar. I do fear it.
They were villains, murderers, the will. Read the will.
You will compel me then to read the will? Shall I come down? And will you give me leave?
Come
down. To serve.
Oh, Julius Caesar, I'll follow you to the fire.
tomorrow's earth and set me here and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of Jared's clothes. Come to Muhammad's breast and take my meal for God. You murdering ministers, wherever you sell the substance, you wait on nature.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that little video as much as we enjoyed the festival itself. The festival was absolutely superb. It lasted, of course, a lot longer than that video. We started at 10 in the morning, finished at something like 5 in the evening, and more than 200 pupils took part. Big range of Shakespeare for one afternoon. We'd like, of course, to thank a number of people for making it possible. We'd like to thank Mr. Richard Hewitt, who was the overall director of the whole programme, and his father, Mr. Jeff Hewitt, who kindly covered a lot of the costs of the project. We'd like to thank Mr. Hewitt's assistant Samson, who was running backwards and forwards constantly trying to get this together, and in the end did a very good job indeed. We'd like to thank Ms. Xenia Villanova-Bruton, the Managing Director of Educape South Africa, which was responsible for initiating the South African Shakespeare Schools Festival, with which our own festival is already linked, and we hope very much to develop those links with South Africa, with some of their pupils, maybe some of their actors coming here, and possibly some of ours going there. But that's all in the future. We'd also like to thank Professor Maurice Hindle of the Open University in the United Kingdom, who sent us a large number of copies of a small booklet that he's just published about Shakespearean theatre, one for each participant. So we're very grateful. We're grateful to the directors of the other plays and all who helped with them, and to the headmasters and headmistresses of the schools that the pupils came from, and everybody else who helped in putting on those productions. And we'd like to thank, as always, the support staff at KA, Kamuzu Academy, the maintenance, the household, landscape, catering, all of whom did a great deal in the background to bring this festival together. Thank you all very much. And thanks, of course, to the parents of the actors and the actors themselves, because learning those lines, learning those movements, no small matter. Thank you very much to all of you. Just a word or two about Shakespeare. Shakespeare himself and why this festival is so important. Shakespeare, I think, is certainly, probably at any rate, England's greatest poet. The few sonnets that we heard at the beginning of this production are examples of Shakespeare's purely poetic work, and they are so inventive. They make such good use of the English language. They twist ideas so that what comes out at the end is not at all what you expected at the beginning. And they make him a great poet, as well as a great playwright. I think there's no doubt at all that Shakespeare is the greatest dramatic poet who has ever written in the English language, and not only because of his use of language, the poetic gifts that go into the rest of his poetry, but also because those characters, that huge, wide range of characters, Romeo and Juliet, teenagers in love, Macbeth, an ambitious man, but tied by loyalty to his king, that his wife, a much more fierce woman, doesn't feel at all. All those characters, the rustics in Midsummer Night's Dream, the magical characters in The Tempest, Ferdinand, Caliban, and of course Prospero, the greatest magician of all. Such a range of characters, and such a range of situations. Shakespeare can make you laugh in one scene, cry in the next scene, and think hard throughout. Most people are fortunate enough to have to study a Shakespeare play, whether for MSCE or for IGCSE or for whatever exams they happen to take. But reading them is one thing. Seeing them on the stage is quite another. When you see them, you see what Shakespeare was trying to do. And acting in them is yet another experience. Getting inside the stories, getting inside the characters, finding out how Shakespeare did what he did. That's an experience which goes well beyond even reading the plays. You can say, you might say, that when you act in a play by Shakespeare, you're transported into his world, Verona, Scotland, wherever it is, some island in the Mediterranean. You're transported into his world, you spend 2 hours in that world, and when you come out, it's a part of your imagination for the rest of your life. So that's what this festival did for those 200 children who took part in it. I think it was a very excellent occasion, and I think it's something from which those 200 children and everybody else who was involved in it will have derived very great benefit. Thank you very much.